The Sound of Freedom passing $100 million. You know who doesn't like movies about pedophiles and sex traffickers? Pedophiles and sex traffickers. Ralph, there I am. Sitting here playing with myself, I guess. Some war drum sounding. Howdy, folks. It's your old friend Mancow. Look at this. Just got this from Japan. It's Ultraman, my new ashtray. We'll know when Timothy Alberino's on. They just pulled his internet, and I think it's on purpose. This is the hottest guest on Earth right now, and they just pulled his. I'm telling you, this is by design. Like 5 minutes ago, the book is Birthright, and I want to tell you that coming up on Wednesday, one channel, and I'm not pimping this channel, I'm not promoting it. I do know people over there, but I know people everywhere. People here, people there. Come on, people everywhere. But it's going to be on News Nation. And this will be the first time in our lives that Ted Cruz and Chuck Schumer and really everybody agrees. And it's all above their pay grade. I remember speaking with Roger Clinton and others. Bill said, nah, it's above my pay grade. They won't tell presidents the truth about the UFOs. They're going to have hearings, and they're going to be televised in one place. And again, that's Wednesday starting at 9 a.m. on News Nation. And I am not a advertising source for News Nation, but I'm going to want to watch them, and I'd want to know where they are. Universal Studios, I don't know if you saw this, but they pulled all the leaves and cut all the tops off all their trees. Universal Studios in L.A., so that the protesters would have no shade while they protested. I don't care if they write another movie. I don't care if there is another movie. Pretty much everything that comes out is shit. Look, should they be able to take somebody like my friend William Shatner and CGI him and make Kirk movies or Star Trek movies or whatever for the next 1,000 years? That's what they want to do, and they don't want to pay. I had a radio person come to me, which I told you about, where they said they wanted to film me for a couple hours and record my voice, and then they would have a VJ forever. I would be digital, and I refused. So anyway, I'm just talking here. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. I know a lot of you are very excited about this show. I was too. And they just pulled this guy's internet. Maybe I'll just hold up the phone and talk to him. If it comes to that, we'll do it. But, both sets of cheeks that we have here and there, have a hole in the middle. And it's interesting when you say the word poop. When you say the word poop, it actually looks like that when you poop. Okay, so much for filling time. What a disaster. I was telling my daughters as they head off to school, are we going to get them? Telling my daughters as they go off to school that remember, the first girl dancing and the last girl dancing is always considered insane. And by the way, if you go past me on the road in my yellow 72 Ford Maverick, if you go past me, you're a maniac. If you go slower than me, you're a fargan asshole. It's just amazing, isn't it? Anyone slower than you, look at this asshole. Anyone who's faster than me, he's crazy. I apparently am the only one in my mind that drives the right speed. How about you? Saw a big thing on, clicking through the internet. Who killed Tupac? Like we still get, who cares? There's so much. Have you seen our city? Do you know what the death toll is in Chicago? Who killed Tupac? Are you kidding? And by the way, Tupac, really a horrible guy. I mean, gangbanger. I lived in that area, Oakland, San Francisco, San Jose, had the #1 station, played hip hop, played rap, played urban, met plenty of people that knew Tupac, and they all were unanimous. Real gangbanging piece of shit. And you live that life, and that's how you die. Who killed Tupac? We care about that still? I mean, I'm sorry if anyone gets killed. Maybe he would have been saved and been great. Maybe he would have woken up the way Kanye did. I love that for 20 years in Chicago. Oh, he's a genius. Kanye's a genius. I think his music's shit. Oh, he's a genius. He's a genius. And then he started liking Trump, and I'm like, I kind of like him. Oh, no, he's insane. He's horrible now. So tomato is a fruit. So then is ketchup a smoothie? I wonder. Saw Oppenheimer on the big screen. Saw it on the IMAX. Maybe you saw my review. I don't think it's necessary to see it in IMAX. Christopher Nolan does like the big booming soundtracks. For that only, maybe. I don't think this Cillian Murphy, think he's a great actor. Don't think he can carry a movie. Matt Damon, a real star, shows up and just, and maybe that's Cillian's talent, is that he allows others around him to shine. And boy, they sure do in the movie Oppenheimer. I'm well versed in Harry S. Truman. I think Gary Oldman doesn't do a very good job. I never say that. I think he always does a great job. He doesn't nail Truman. He doesn't act like a Missourian. That's not how we act. That's not how Truman acted. And I know because I've studied this my entire life. Also, around that time, General MacArthur was saying China's the real enemy. Let's keep going. Let's stop them now. And Truman didn't listen. I wish he would have. I had one general tell me that, and this was probably 5 years ago, that we should have started bombing 10 years ago and not stopped. We should have dropped everything we could have on China at the time. Someone was telling me they're going to be demanding at Whole Foods hand scanners. Have you heard about this? Hand scanners. So what's going to be on your hand? Is it going to be a tattoo? Maybe it's a tattoo here. Remember we got used to that? They would check your temperature. Maybe that's that they were getting us ready for. And of course, the barcodes everywhere in places now that won't take cash. And beware of the mark of the beast. I say this to you, my friends. Maybe the most important thing you ever heard from me is don't let them brand you. Don't do this. Don't let us go into a cashless society, because truly, then we are. It's all over. Any luck on Alberino, or should we? I can call him. I'll just hold the phone up. I don't care.
Yeah, that's what you're going to have to do. He said that the phone browser was blocking his mic and camera, so you just call him on speaker.
Wow. No, I get it. I think it's on purpose.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Okay. Kurt Loder is 78. Do you feel old? Remember the old news guy from MTV? 78. Are you there?
I am.
It says Mancow's MacBook. What if I click on that? Would it come over that? I want to try that, see what happens. Can you hear me? Okay, well, that didn't work. Okay, so I think it's sabotage, or sabotage, as William Shatner says. Snow White and the Seven People. Now the dwarf actors are getting upset. The little people are upset that they can't work. If you haven't seen the trailer for Snow White and the Seven People, we're going to show that. We're also going to show the greatest political ad of the year so far coming up. And Jason Aldean, I stand with him. Did you see that the country music station is not standing with Jason Aldean? So this is the book. Here's his picture. Here's his picture on the back so you can see who we're talking to. That's Timothy Alberino. Timothy, I guess speak up the best you can. Just do the best that you can here, and we'll try to carry through. We'll try to muddle through. Offworld.
2, 1, 6.
Oh, come on. Offworld healing. See, this is why you think I miss this stuff. I don't. But I'll tell you, our ratings have been good, and we are going to be going every day. We are looking at that. Timothy. Can you believe this, guys? I'm telling you, I've been calling them all day. No problems. This is some high-level stuff. The off-world, the off-world hearing begins. What are we seeing? What are we dealing with from outer space? You were here earlier, guys. You heard me talking to them. No problems.
They don't want us to know.
Well, this goes beyond Congress and the Senate. They can't, and presidents. So maybe that really is the case. Wow. This is really disturbing, guys. Somebody played a show of mine from 30 years ago. And I was warning about the pedos. Timothy?
Yes.
Well, we're going to do the best we can. The hearings are coming up. Both sides of our government, are the left and right, are together on this. What do you think we could learn? What? Well, I say sabotage. I really do. It's amazing. No problems. No problems all day. No problems all day. Let's roll the Snow White and the Seven People. And if you're questioning going to an Indiana Jones movie or spending money at a Disney park, don't. These people have to be punished. Iger is saying they're going to cut back. They need to cut back. Go ahead and play it. I haven't seen this yet.
The crown is mine. Slave in the magic mirror.
Slave. Did she say
Come from
slave?
the farthest space. Through wind and darkness, I summon thee.
My queen. What would you like to know?
No more dwarfs.
Tell me.
Magic mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest one of all?
Lips red as the rose. Hair black as ebony. Snow White.
The crown is mine.
Well, we didn't get a look at the 7 people, but it's one of everything. And if you didn't know, Gonzo now is also a Gonzo of the Muppets. Can you Gonzo the Muppets is now a transsexual. I don't know if you knew that or not. Why am I flopping all over the place here? Taylor Swift is not a Taylor. I wanted to talk about do we think we have Timothy? Might we have him? Oh, this is incredible. I do think they're messing with us. Folks, if you had a choice, men, I say, if you had a choice between a paid up credit card forever, no limit, a credit card or your wife, a paid up credit card forever, no limit, or your wife, would you do an Amex or would you do a Visa? All right, we're trying to get Alberino. This is such a tease, folks. Sound of Freedom, Seasons beatings. No, it's beating everything. It had been past $100 million. Disney had it for 5 years and tried to kill it. Why? Of all the things we're supposed to support all the time, all these Hollywood people shooting their mouths off all the time, they can't stand up against grooming and pedophiles. That should tell you everything that you need to know. And by the way, I keep hearing this term from everybody, mastermind, Barry Obama or, and Michael Obama and all that stuff. But Barack Obama, the mastermind, he's masterminding this. And I keep hearing this from everybody, the mastermind. I got a chance to spend some time with him. And, we kind of evolved and emerged from the same pond here partially. And I don't believe the mastermind thing with him. I think he's lazy. I think he's an egomaniac, but I think he's lazy. And I mean, maybe his Chinese communist handlers, maybe other handlers, just like he had heirs and these other people, but I don't think he's some genius. I've spent time with him. I don't think he's some genius pulling the strings and organizing all of this. And what do you think about Roger Stone saying that it's going to be Michelle Obama as an ex-president? Oh, no! What do you think? Craziness. My friend Brooks is, can you hand me that picture? Can you hand me that? I'll cover the camera. If you go quickly, I can cover it. Okay. Yeah, if you can move a little quicker, that'd help too. Anyway, this is my friend, the other side here. This is my friend Brooks, one of my best buddies. And he's, that's not it. Anyway, he's dying of cancer right now. And his body is starting to shut down as you try to protect the heart and the head. And I saw it with my father when he was dying of cancer, right? Your body is trying to compartmentalize and save as much as it can. And bit by bit, you die. And really, it's what I'm seeing in America. It's like death by cancer, right? We're compartmentalizing. I had the numbers. I think this is, I'll go low. I think it's 160, but I'll say 140. There are some neighborhoods near Bridgeport that have 0 cops during the day assigned to them. At night, some of them have 15. These are major neighborhoods in Chicago, 15 cops assigned. Our mayor, the communist, Brandon, has 140 cops for himself, for one man. And this is what we see with Trump getting arrested. This is what we see with the Bidens. This is what we see with communism. And of course, you only have to have one election that's not fair, and then you never have another fair election again. The communists only have to get in once. And that's what we see here, I think. Hunter Biden, obviously, these people were paid off, in my opinion, by the Chinese. I don't think it's just opinion. I think there's lots of proof to that. We saw what happened to the whistleblower that came out. But, I mean, guys, I was just in New York. I see it in Chicago. You see just the shittiest people emboldened, just shitty people, just bad attitudes, just just filled with hate. You see the murdering that's going on, and no bail. No bail. Chicago. Yeah. I'm sorry. I think you kill another human being. I don't care what color you are. You kill another human being, you're a piece of shit. That's me. Some people said I was too tough on Paul Vallis last show. Paul Vallis, who I had $250,000 for. Paul Vallis, who decided to act like a communist against everything that his family stands for that I know, everything his sons fought for and stood for, to me. And I was told by others, oh, just till he gets in, he's going to be a communist. And, we got a real communist. And I actually respect the commie, Brandon. I respect that more than the liar. And Paul lied and lied and lied. Or he lied to me. Or he's a commie and his kids are commies. And so I said some off-color things about Paul Vallis. Paul Vallis was running for mayor in Chicago. And all of a sudden became an uber commie. Said that DeSantis shouldn't be allowed to speak here. In a free country. Shouldn't be allowed to speak in Illinois. So anyway, we're compartmentalizing. You see America dying if you've gone for a drive. Now, I don't know where you live. If you live in Florida, it may be nice. But roads here are shot, trash everywhere, empty buildings. I love this in all these communist areas. Businesses die. They can't afford the taxes, the fees, the fines, all the BS. And they say, well, people are shopping online. No, it's the shithead stealing. It really is. It's the violence. Something about not wanting to be killed, right? So, yeah. And you see him, man, chest puffed out. Man, yeah, I don't give a shit, and there's nothing you can do about it. The criminals, the vitriol from them. And we're worried about them and their feelings. It's these here are crazy days, folks. These are crazy days. Sound of Freedom passed 100 million. You just have to look at the people that were against that movie, and it should really tell you everything. And I said it before. I said at the beginning here. You know who doesn't like movies about sex traffickers and pedophiles? Pedophiles and sex traffickers. Hey, if I cut my dog's balls off, if I got a male dog and I cut his balls off, is it a girl dog? Is it suddenly a girl dog? Oh, Should we start the show and keep trying to get Alberino on?
He's tried a couple of times.
I know he's trying. I'm telling you, it's yes.
Here's what he said. He said, I posted the thumbnail and the intro for the show 20 minutes before we went live, and 20 minutes before we went live, his internet went down. The third in charge. He literally said that he thinks he's being sabotaged.
The third in charge at Instagram. One of the top people close to Elon Musk said they've never seen anything like it. And I said, are you even with Joe Rogan and Alex Jones? No. You understand. You're late to the party. They're not going to let you get a foothold. That's why we got up to 2 million people, and then they deleted us. And that's why we got up to 177,000. They deleted us. And I am going to be going. I'm really working on going full time. We're really thinking about this. I'm going to be going on the road with the Pumpkins. They got a brilliant new album out, and anyway, I'm going to miss a few weeks, but then I want to jump on and I want to do this every day. And I think there's a market. I don't see it on TV. I don't see it anywhere. I don't see it anywhere, and that is just common sense. I'm seeing politics, and what we did and what people responded to with me and I responded to with you was just common sense, regular Missouri horse sense. Show me. And you can't have common sense anymore. You get shot down. So, the Bidens, they really play up being a Catholic. They're Catholic, right? They're Catholic. And yet they love late-term abortion and they love this marriage and that marriage. But that's not Catholic. That's not Christian. That's not the Bible. You don't hate the sinner. You hate the sin. You sure as heck don't put a big sign on the front of your church. And as far as I've been alive, I have never seen any business ever keep out anybody. Never seen it in my life. All are welcome here. I've never seen in my entire life a business where everyone wasn't welcome. Like Walmart. All are welcome. All are welcome. Yeah, it was always like that. All are welcome. Everybody. And you're talking about very rich groups. Very rich. Very rich. And, oh, we've got to worry about, and Tupac, who killed Tupac? Just a bunch of stuff. Meanwhile, our roads are falling apart. Our lives are going to shit. Our middle class is disturbed. But Zelensky's having a hell of a time, man. I'll tell you, him and his little buddies are having, his little dwarf friends over in Ukraine, man, they are living large on our money. And we're sending every bit we can, buying everything we can through Amazon and everything else over to China. We're paying for it, man. We are paying for our own suicide. We're paying for our own suicide. Yeah, Catholic. Yeah, that Biden, those Catholics that love the late-term abortion. Oh, it's so Catholic. It's so Catholic. He so much cares about Christ. I've heard they wouldn't allow him to do communion. But of course, then you've got Hunter, who's a crystal Methodist. Okay, hit the show start. We got to start the show, man. Without Alberino, I don't care. We got to go. Do you know there are more airplanes in Lake Michigan than there are submarines in the sky over all of America? Did you know that? That's an absolute fact. So as my mother used to say, shut up. Do we not have Alberino? The hearings are going to be, we're trying again, I see. Okay. The hearings are going to be televised Wednesday on News Nation. Very excited about this show. Very prepared, very ready. If you haven't heard the new pumpkin stuff, let me promote Empires off Atom. The complete set, if you can get it, is 15 pounds of vinyl. 15 pounds of new Smashing Pumpkins. 15 pounds of vinyl. 15 pounds. The complete set. But there's a song called Empires. And then what's the other one I love? Yeah, Empires is one. Check that out. I was driving around with Billy, and he was lip syncing and playing air guitar and air drums to his own music. And I got to tell you, it was a great life moment driving with that genius. Some people say Kurt Cobain. Others say, I heard him for a second. Others say Kurt Cobain. Others say Eddie Vedder. No way, man. The voice of, I'm in Chicago though, man. The voice of that generation of that time was Billy and the Pumpkins. So to have him sitting in my car, man, jamming out to his own music, he loves it. I love it. And he's going like this, Empires, Empires, Empire, in my passenger seat. And I'm going, this is cool. And I'm jumping on the bus with him, and we're going to be touring around America. And I'm on the bus with him and Jimmy Chamberlain, and it's just a level of great. It's just a level of greatness and fun. I keep hearing you try. It's so heartbreaking. Maybe we'll do a special episode. See? Well, we've been going 20 minutes. I want to show, and then we'll end here. I want to show the greatest political ad I've seen. If we get Alberino, I'll continue. But otherwise, the greatest political ad is we've been sabotaged tonight, guys. We've been sabotaged. We've been shadow banned. That's such a term. We're banned. They don't want you to hear this. Let's hit the greatest political ad, and then we'll end. Wait, Timothy.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. What? Oh, miracle of miracles. If you hung out, don't worry about a picture of him unless you can just find a still picture of him. Put it there, Mr. Nudie. What are we going to get from these off-world hearings that are happening? That's fine too. What do you expect to hear?
Well, let me say, first of all, this is extremely bizarre. Literally, right when Ralph posted the link, my internet gone. As soon as he posted the link, I'm down. I can't get on the internet. I was on the internet watching a documentary all the way up until he sent me the link.
Yep. No, I know. The same thing here.
So I apologize for the.
Don't. Just get to the point before we lose you again.
Okay.
What are you expecting to hear from these hearings?
So first of all, the disclosure is real. It's not some sort of a psychological operation. There are dueling factions inside of the government. And when I say government, I mean deep state. And indeed, what I really mean is what I call the dumb state, an organization that is much more powerful and secretive than the deep state. It's where the classified projects, these special access projects are being developed. When I say special access projects, I'm talking about reverse engineering of alien technology. This technology is being reverse engineered in underground bases, underground installations around the country. And there's more than one craft. There are many craft that we've recovered for over 50 decades. And so you have dueling factions inside of the government at the Pentagon who one faction wants disclosure, wants to tell the American people as much as they can without compromising national security. And the other faction absolutely wants to keep the lid on this thing. And so now Congress is getting involved. And the question is, which one of those factions is going to win? Because that's what's going to determine how useful these hearings are ultimately. Now, we already know what David Grush came out and said. David Grush, of course, was the whistleblower who came out a month ago, last month, and he has very impressive credentials. He comes from the intelligence community. He was on the Pentagon's UFO UAP task force, and everything that Grush said, everything he said, has been known in ufology for decades, and confirms much of the research, as I said, that's been done for decades in ufology. So nothing he said has thrown a red flag in the UFO community. We can confirm that what he's saying is true.
Timothy?
Yes.
I don't want to lose you, but I want to say something, and I can't say what I know and what I don't know and who I knew it from. And there's the unknowns are known and the knowns. The government speak here, but let me just say, Fox News Channel and CNN and others are not running these for a reason. This is the most important story of our lifetime, maybe of many lifetimes, since the resurrection of Christ. I can't think of a bigger story. Certainly World War II was something. I'm being sarcastic. Huge things. The man on the moon, huge things. But, them admitting we've found several spaceships, off-world spaceships, and CNN isn't covering it, and Fox isn't covering it, and they don't cover a lot of stuff. And I've been behind the scenes, and so have you, Timothy. And that is, I think you got this upstart here with News Nation, and they're not beholden to anyone yet. And so you really have, I'm telling you, I do know this. I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but I mean, both sides are like, this is great. Because you understand the senators and the congressmen and everybody, they don't know that. The presidents don't know this stuff, guys.
No.
And and I'll tell you, this is going to break tomorrow. I'm going to give you an inside scoop. They've got people that are going to come on, and these are military leaders that are on the record and are finally coming out. They're on the record, and they're going to say, look, we talked about it, and our careers were destroyed. And that was the thing. You can write it up. If you see something, write it up, and you're done in the Navy. You're done in the Air Force. You're done in the military. It's over. So they saw this stuff. They could never talk about it. So that's what we're dealing with here.
What we're dealing with, and to answer your question in a more succinct way, Congress does not have the clearance to access these classified projects. They don't have clearance to access the deep underground military bases.
Yeah.
They don't have the need to know. So I don't know what's going to happen when Congress tries to pry into these things, when they try and get their hands on this technology, when they demand to be taken into these installations and shown the technology. I don't know what's going to happen. But I do know that even the President of the United States does not have the clearance to access these projects. This is cosmic clearance. The President of the United States does not have cosmic clearance.
How about the fact that this got no attention? How about the fact RFK is open and everybody's openly saying, "Oh yeah, the government killed JFK." Many people are openly saying it. Yeah. That's not a big deal. You would think if we ever had a stolen election in America that there would be a major uprising. I mean, a major uprising. If an election was really stolen, I'm just shocked at some of the things that don't get attention from our people. And I'm saying every American of every color, every religion, everything. I do appreciate, by the way, just a side note, I do appreciate the Muslims of all folks, the Muslims stepping up and really making a big deal at some of these school board meetings about the perversions that are being taught at our schools. It's really the Muslims that have stepped up. I'd like to see more Christians and Jewish folks and others step up as well, Scientologists, whatever. Okay. Mission Impossible 7, pretty good. Oppenheimer, kind of boring. I won't support Disney, so I can't talk about that. Oh, I'm rambling on. Timothy, here's what I've come to believe. They're not from this planet. They're not interdimensional. There's 4 different kinds of species that we know of, 4 different types of aliens, and they ain't our friends. Do you think I'm right?
Well, I find that to be quite interesting because I think that's a different perspective than what you had just a few months ago, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know.
Yeah, I would agree.
I do evolve. I do learn things. Certainly, this whistleblower got me thinking.
I absolutely agree with you. We have, I mean, the interdimensional thing. My God, nobody has ever seen another dimension, so that's like fantasy land for me. I mean, I get it; it's theoretically possible, but we've got physical craft, and if these things can move between dimensions, then certainly they can move between planets. So, at the very least, these entities are trafficking in outer space. At the very least, does that make them space aliens? And I believe that they've got bases on the dark side of the moon, at least one faction, and certainly bases in the interior of Mars. And we may too, by the way.
Wow. Okay, so some big statements. What about those that say they're just doing this because they know? God, I'm trying to think of the guy that I know that talked to like 8 presidents. I talk to him almost every week for years. Oh, great. A prophet, a Christian prophet. Anyway, I know that our presidents speak with Christian prophets. I know Trump was a Christian guy. I know the Hillary shunned all that. What I'm headed to, do you know, Timothy? What I'm headed to is, are they going to use this to explain away the rapture? When something spiritual happens, is this just a setup for them to be able to deny the rapture?
No, there's something bigger happening behind the scenes, something that's been burgeoning for decades, and that is the alien abduction phenomenon. That's the real problem here. This is the real problem for the government. The government has, and when I say the government, remember, I'm referring to what I call the dumb state, an organization that's deeper than the deep state, okay? They have a problem. The problem is if they openly talk about these entities and their craft and their technology, that's why they're trying to change the terminology, by the way. They don't want to talk about UFOs. They want to talk about UAPs. They want to change the terminology. They want to talk about this phenomenon as if it's a new phenomenon. They're only now interested in it. They've just started investigating it. They don't want to talk about what's the cover-up, the brutal, in some cases, the brutal, aggressive cover-up of the UFO phenomenon that's transpired over decades, in which the government has perpetrated all kinds of evils on people, as you mentioned, who are within the government, the military, who've tried to come out and blow the whistle, or have even just tried to investigate the phenomenon. They've been fired, they've been dismissed, or in some cases they've been murdered. And then so you have all of those skeletons in this UFO closet, right? That half of this faction wants to keep this door shut and sealed forever. But the bigger problem that they have is the abduction phenomenon, because for decades American citizens have been being abducted by these entities, at least one faction, the Greys, and have been subjected to all kinds of terrible procedures on alien craft. Millions of human beings, human females around the world, have carried hybrid fetuses in their wombs, which are extracted at about 3 months before the women are showing. And so this has been the experience of millions of women around the world for decades. So these are the things that the government does not, under any circumstances, want to talk about. But this is a real problem, because you can't talk about the technology and the entities without being retroactive and going back in time and dealing with these other subjects that have been ongoing. This is a huge deal, and no one is talking about it. Government hearings on UFOs. Think about this. And Alberino here is saying, our guest, that they've been impregnating women. We've heard this. They've been abducting people. You heard Robert Fleischman, the original lead singer of Journey, Mr. Wheel in the Sky, wrote many of their hits, wrote their greatest album.
created what is the modern band Journey. They were a one-song, per side album rockers band, and they were about to get dropped, and they brought him in to reconstruct the band, and he did it, and that's why we know about Journey today. But he has been abducted throughout his life. He told of the horrific stories. Nobody ever talks about great stories. Then you saw Whitley Strieber on this program, who had incredible tales to tell, and next week I want to talk about how baloney is simply a hot dog pancake. No. All right. The reason, Timothy, it's an old joke on our show. Whenever anyone says phenomena, we go, do, 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 do. You may remember the Muppets phenomena. Do, 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 do. Phenomena. Do, do. So that's why I'm doing that. If you're wondering, why is he being such an ass every time I say the word phenomena? Do, 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 do. And Gonzo, by the way, the Muppet is now a transsexual.
Of course.
Shiznit you not. Welcome to Sodom and Gomorrah. Anything we can get for you, Mr. Lott? Okay, so look, I'm just telling you, everyone in the government, this is all they care about right now because they want to know, just like us. They want to know. So these hearings are for real. It doesn't matter what you are. It doesn't matter if you're Rand Paul or whoever. Everybody wants to know what's the truth. But boy, you make it really sound sinister. Go ahead, Timothy Alberino.
To highlight this factional conflict going on within the military-industrial complex, the deep state, the dumb state. What happened? See, most people don't realize this, but what happened about a week before David Grush came out and blew the whistle? And again, what he said was that the Pentagon has had a secret program to recover, craft, extraterrestrial craft, alien craft, and bodies, and has been doing so for decades in reverse engineering and the technology from the craft. Okay, that's what he said. That was the big deal. That's what he blew the whistle on. So it doesn't get better than that. But to highlight this conflict,
seeing the space aliens, if we get to see pictures of, and they say this is it, these are the creatures from outer space. If we actually get to see real pictures during these hearings, again, they start Wednesday at 9 a.m. What? That's
not going to happen. I doubt it. But what happened a week before the whistleblower, before Grush? What happened was NASA came out, and NASA has been ostensibly investigating the UAP question themselves for a year, right? They got to get in on the thing, because if there's going to be official disclosure of an alien presence, then the public, the American public, who are they going to expect to hear this from? NASA.
Yeah.
That's who they're going to expect to hear this from, right? So what does NASA do? NASA comes out 1 week before David Grush blows the whistle. And they come out and they say that there's nothing to see here. There's no space aliens. There's no, we do not have any proof of UFOs. So we have no evidence that anything like this is happening. That's what they said in a nutshell. 1 week before Grush comes out on News Nation.
Well, you remember, and by the way, I got to tell you, do you understand the risk to News Nation doing this? My understanding behind the scenes is they put him through lie detectors. They did massive research on this guy, because this could have been like Al Capone's vault. I mean, this could have been a disaster. And I'm telling you, this guy is squeaky clean. This guy is a real Boy Scout, the last Boy Scout. That was a fun movie. I like that movie, by the way. And I want to say one other thing. I have heard people over the years say, if they move like this, they can't be anything alive, because they move so quick that any human being in these spaceships you'd be turned to jelly. That the human body cannot survive.
That's irrelevant. It's irrelevant, because these craft are moving in their own gravitational field. They generate gravity waves, so the atmosphere is not affecting them.
Do you remember when Obama came out, or NASA came out during the Obama years and said our number one goal is to have more Muslim astronauts? That was like the first thing he said. Our number one goal is to have more. And again, I don't care what my pilot looks like. I don't care what the astronaut. I want the best. I want the best.
And that, of course, echoes the sentiment of all sane people in the world. And by the way, I just pulled up the actual, I want you to understand this. I just pulled up the actual response from NASA at their hearing, or whatever it was, that they had the advisory board tasked with studying UAPs. The study director, his name was Dan Evans. So just to reiterate, a week before the big whistleblower story about UFOs, what does this guy say? This is how he opens it. I want to emphasize this loud and proud that there is absolutely no convincing evidence for extraterrestrial life associated with UAPs.
Okay.
So I want everyone to understand that
What's
there
a
are
UAP?
it's factional. It's an unidentified. Oh shoot, what's the A stand for? I always say aerial phenomena, but it's not. It's unidentified anomalous phenomenon. That's what it is. Unidentified anomalous phenomenon. And so,
can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Do you know what this is?
It's a bottle of some kind of liquid.
Well, it's Florida water.
Okay.
You know what that is? Well, it's the stuff that when you're in the mountains in Peru that you put under your nose.
I've never heard of that.
Everybody was doing it. Are you kidding? You lived in Peru.
Florida? Did you call it Florida water?
Yeah, that's what they called it.
No, we just chew coca leaves.
I did that too, man. And boy, I love the taste. And I also got the black cocoa to chew. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The black patties. And
Yeah.
I thought it tasted fantastic. Timothy, I went there seeking. We're going to take a little sidetrack, folks. We'll come back quickly. But I went there seeking. I saw all the rocks. I saw everything that you and the blurry creatures people saw. As you know, you saw the pictures. And I talked to the locals. I talked to the guides, and they said, well, yeah, it could have been space aliens. It could have been, or here's the quarry, and you can see where they were cut out.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this with my own eyes. I moved a rock the size of a car on 2 rollers. They had earth ramps. You can still see some of the ramps. You put 2 stones together and they can't slide a piece of paper between them. Yeah, that happens now. You cut 2 things flat and put them together. You can't put a piece of paper between them, especially if they're these heavy rocks. They had mathematics. They were smart. Look, I do believe giants walk the earth. I do believe in the Nephilim. I don't believe, looking at these things, that they were made by space aliens and cut with lasers. I saw how they were sanded. You know, my friend Dave Salvaggio, your friend Dave Salvaggio, there's no chisel marks. And the guy goes, well, yeah, they had sandpaper and this is what they did. And he showed us. Well, I don't know. Now, I say sexy woman. I think that's what the guy was saying. Sexy woman. How do you say it?
Sexy woman or sexy woman.
Close enough. Well, I want to go there next year for a month. And I felt a real power. I felt a universal power. I felt a supernatural power. I had to let everybody leave me, and I laid there, and I could feel the earth, man. I could feel it. And reminded me of a Timothy Leary trip that I took in the Monterey Bay and then ended up in Freedom, California many years ago. I'm rambling on, but I want to tell you something. And they did say that there are tunnels, and they did retrieve some gold things and some gold statues, everything. What was what was I laying? This was in what's the name of that town?
Cusco?
Cusco. I could live there. I could live there for 3 months a year.
Yeah.
And
well,
I got a place. I got Japan. I got Italy. I got America. Yeah. Go ahead.
I also do not subscribe to the notion that aliens had anything to do with that space aliens had anything to do with the construction of these megalithic.
See, I thought this was going to be. I thought, oh man, I'm getting Alberino tonight because I think it's bullshit. I think it's bullshit.
But I would also I would also
they had no unions. They had slave labor.
I would also contest the notion.
Wait, Timothy. We don't do buildings like that now. Yeah, because we need a Wendy's in a week. These buildings took 100 years to build, folks. We couldn't do that today. Of course we could. Nonsense. Poppycock.
Well, it all depends on what you're talking about too precisely, because you're talking about Machu Picchu, and at Machu Picchu there are at least 2 distinct cultures at work there.
Yeah,
you have obviously the Inca, who are building on top of something much older and much more impressive, and
we agree.
Was built on a larger scale.
We agree.
Now, the Inca called Machu Picchu Ijampu, which means the abode of the gods or the habitation of the gods. And just like Cusco, the city of Cusco, the original ancient megalithic city is built out of green diorite. It's built out of megalithic green diorite. I know that for a fact. We discovered it. My colleague Anselm Piramba discovered it as well. Yeah. So the Inca inherited what they believed was their legacy from the gods. They styled themselves as the offspring of the gods, the children of the sun. And so the Inca were exceptional builders. They were like the Romans of South America. They excelled at building at masonry, architecture. They excelled at building aqueducts, and they excelled at building roads, just like the Romans. But the Inca did not build the foundations of Machu Picchu. The Inca did not build
I know. And the people behind Ancient Aliens and all these shows and Chariots of the Gods and Eric Von Donigan and all these people, I've hung out with them, you've hung out with them, and they say all of this has happened before, it'll all happen again. All of this has happened before, it'll all happen again. I think we've done this endless amounts of time and we've rebuilt. And then I had someone, a television star, say to me, I wish the Spanish had never been there. I wish I would push a button and kill all the Spanish that went to, and did that to those poor Incans. And I said, well, you're just so wrong. You don't even know. Well, they built on top of it to hide it. No, they didn't. These rocks had been cut they had been cut and they had the rocks there. You're talking how long ago? You don't care about an Incan temple. Are you kidding me? What are they going to? Well, we got a big pile of rocks over here. No, we're going to go build something separate. They just did what everybody did.
Exactly. And what we would do today.
Exactly. Oh, you got a big pile of rocks over there. Oh, don't use them. They didn't respect the ruins of the Incans. And by the way, the Incans were not a type of people, as you know, because you lived there for many years. It was like saying a Republican. Oh, the Republicans. It was a political class. The Incans were a political class, not a type of people. What are the type of people that I saw around the streets with the llamas and stuff? What are they called?
Yes, that's a very astute point. When we say Inca, we are not talking about the millions of Andean natives who were subjugated to this ruling class. It was the ruling bloodline that was called Inca. And this ruling bloodline, by the way, they were unusually tall. They were more fair-skinned than the natives. And even Atahualpa, who was the Sapa Inca, the Inca king, when Pizarro landed, and he's the one that Pizarro captured at Cajamarca, he's depicted with a mustache. As you well know, that's not a common feature among natives in Peru. Facial hair is not a common feature among any natives in North or South America. So there's something strange going on with the Inca bloodline. But when we say Inca, really what we're saying is this royal bloodline that dominated all of the other native tribes, Andean peoples. They were the Inca. They subjugated other tribes. The other tribes were under the
dominion. They were slaves. And these people would say, oh, the Spanish were so horrible. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe if you were a slave to these Incan bastards and you were being sacrificed to some godless sun god, maybe the Incans weren't that horrible. Maybe the Spanish weren't that horrible. I just hate that shit.
It was a mixed bag. It was a mixed bag with the Incas. There's some things that the Inca did were virtuous, but other things they did were...
Hey, Timothy. Their gods appear and they're brother and sister, and then brother and sister kept nailing each other and having this pure... I mean,
that's true.
It seems. I mean, I don't want to say anything, but if your God starts with, if my God start, I don't want to insult the whole.
Well, I mean, just to give you an idea,
it seems like they're very okay with incest over in Peru. I guess that's where I'm headed.
They're also very draconian with their laws. To give you an idea, if you killed an alpaca or even just harvested its pelt, right, or its fur for wool, it was a death penalty. You would be killed. Not nowadays. I ate lots of alpaca. Not nowadays, but all of the alpaca in the Andes during the Inca time belonged to the royal family exclusively. Only the Inca could wear alpaca as clothing, and only they could eat alpaca. That's just one example of how draconian the Inca laws were. So it wasn't like some hippie peace and love thing with the Inca. Believe me.
The Hiram Bingham train. I've been all over the world many times. And I have never known splendor like the Hiram Bingham train from the Amazonian basin for 2 days up to Machu Picchu.
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
And Cusco, I mean, trash a lot of trash. The worst drivers I've ever experienced outside of Italy. But lot going on there. Okay. So I told you about these blob things that I've heard about. You and I have talked about 4 different. I mean, I seem to be the only one that cares about this, by the way. Does anybody care what's flying these things, these spaceships?
Let me add one more detail here to Cusco before we move on. I have an associate named Andre Sadasme, he's a Chilean guy. He's an architect and archaeoastronomer. He's lived in Cusco for 20 years and been studying the megaliths in Peru. And Andres and some other researchers before him have determined, based on, as I said, the green diorite foundations, megalithic foundations of Cusco, and their alignment with the summer and winter solstices, that the city of Cusco was founded in 10,000 BC, circa 10,000 BC. So when we talk about Cusco, when we talk about megaliths, we're talking about a lost, ancient, prehistoric civilization, a remarkable civilization that was building on a scale that we haven't seen anything like it since until the industrial age. I just wanted to highlight that point.
Animal husbandry, breeding special animals, the fruit, the thousands of kinds of potatoes, the 100 different kinds of avocados, many of which I experienced at their markets. Why someone hasn't gotten and the fruit I've never heard of anywhere on earth, but there. These people were something else, and why someone smart hasn't brought this stuff to America. Maybe that's my next business.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, guys, 100 different kinds of avocados.
Thousands of kinds of corn and thousands of kinds of potatoes.
Thousands of kinds of corn and thousands of kinds of potatoes, and I saw some of them. I mean,
and the Inca, by the way, were responsible for a lot of that. The Inca were absolutely ingenious with
every mountain you see, and you think, oh wow, this is cool. And then you see it every day, all day, everywhere you look. But the teardrops, the stair steps of every mountain, and they knew how the rain hit, and they knew what sediments would hit different parts as it would drip down the mountain. They knew you put potatoes here, you put this up here, you put this here. And they had scientists that studied all this, and man, they had great food because I know I had a lot of it. And also
they took the fertile soil from the valleys and hauled it up to the terraces.
It's good when you have slaves for stuff like that. We have more slaves than ever before, but the Democrats don't want to talk about it. Okay, so and I also thought the polished stones where they would put water, and then they could tell where the stars were, and they knew the seasons and everything by looking at a thin layer of water and reflecting the stars onto this rock. I mean, these were not dumb people. We always think people before us were stupid. I love when I watch something on Disney. Racial stereotypes are wrong now, and they were wrong then, and they knew it. And don't tell me Fred Astaire celebrating Bojangles and blackface, who was a friend of his. Don't tell me he thought, oh, I'm going to get that bastard. It was wrong then, it's wrong now, and they knew. No, they didn't. And they weren't thinking that. I'm sorry. Bing Crosby and all these guys were not thinking, ooh, let's get, Benny Goodman was not thinking, ooh, I'll get Rochester. Come on. It was wrong then, and it's wrong now. I'm watching the road movies, which you've probably never heard of. Road to Morocco is incredible. And Dave Karger on TCM, which really is just pissing people off. And now here's the road pictures loaded with racism and sexism. You know what the sexism was? Dorothy Lamour was sexy. God forbid we have a beautiful woman and men think she's beautiful and they mention, wow, she's beautiful. That's sexism. Racism and sexism. Oh, enjoy your movie. Hey, Dave Karger. Thanks. Here, and everything you watch on Disney you loved when you were a kid. Here you go, a Dumbo. Oh my God, Dumbo. I don't see what's wrong with the crows. I love those characters. I loved them as a kid. I love them now. This movie's awful. Enjoy. Well, you bastards. And then you see Iger sitting on his how many $600 million boat or whatever it is. I mean, that's a G.I. Joe battle station. That's not a boat. At $600 million. And we're going to pull back on Star Wars and Marvel. Why? Because people are rejecting the agenda, and I love it. You didn't really see it, but if you see the pictures of the 7 companions or whatever, they're not dwarfs anymore. I mean, it's a Benetton ad, right? And I'm sure you have one that's a transsexual. Yeah, this, and this. I remember I was watching the Chinese Olympics, and my wife said, God, they're all in union, and they're all together, and it's just thousands of people so synchronized. Do you think we do that in America? I said, are you kidding? Of course, in China, if you don't drum at the right time, they kill you. I was at the Old City, and a guy goofed up on our tour, and a friend of mine was quite upset and yelled at the tour guide. And he said to me, they'll kill me. If your friend complains, they will kill me. This is in the Old City because we didn't get into the clock room. And my friend said, I don't really give a shit. We came all the way to China to see the clock room. You and your father, my father and I built clocks. And I wanted you to see the clocks, and that's why we're here. And this, blah, 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 blah. And I grabbed him, and I threw him against the wall, and I said, you listen to me. I mean, so you say you're a Christian. I'm a Christian. This guy's going to get killed because I didn't get to see some clocks in the old city of China. I don't want that on my soul. Stop it. Stop it. So yeah, no, we couldn't have that. And diversity is our strength. Look up the word diversity. Look up what diversity means. I've never understood. Best person for the job. I have a company. I don't care what you look like. If you listen to my show, I had everybody on the show. I had Brian the Big Gay Mule. I had Al Roker Jr. I had everybody. They're the best. Oh no! Now you must hire a Peruvian. You must, a gay Peruvian today. What is this? I want someone who can do the job. Okay, the hearings are coming up Wednesday. Are you going to be riveted? Are you going to be watching?
I don't expect much to come out of the hearings. I certainly don't.
Killjoy.
I certainly don't expect to hear any new information. I think we're going to get David Rush again, basically just reiterating everything he's already told the reporter at News Nation. We're going to get some of these other whistleblowers who are known entities. We already know about them. I will be surprised if we get some generals or some high-ranking military people who. Well, then that will surprise me.
Where does God figure in? Where does God figure into space aliens, Mr. Alberino?
Well, I don't think. This is a long theological conversation, but I think if you, strictly speaking, angels are extraterrestrial beings. They shouted for joy. It says the sons of God, the B'nai Elohim, shouted for joy when the foundations of the earth were laid. So there's no getting around the fact that angels are extraterrestrial beings. So I don't think there's any conflict.
These things in spaceships are not angels.
Maybe some of them are.
Wow.
Maybe some of them are, and of course I postulate that in my book. So I think that
I think God. Jesus says I have other worlds to visit. I have other places to visit. Other sheep, not of this flock. Depending on what translation you read of the Bible. Look, I don't have a problem with God having other people and other planets in infinity. I don't have a problem with any of that. None of this. The religions of the world couldn't handle it if they were space aliens. Why not? Doesn't affect how I feel about Jesus or my God. Does it affect you, Timothy?
Nothing has affected anybody so far. The point you were making early on. Nothing has affected anybody. Like you said, we now know the CIA admitted that they were involved in the JFK assassination. Who cares, right? Nobody cares. Everybody's on TikTok and Instagram.
Wow. You see that cat over my head waving?
I do.
At, Madame Zuzu's tea house in Highland Park if you want one. Do you want to hear something wild?
What's that?
It's doing this.
I see it.
I opened it up. There was no batteries in it.
Perpetual motion machine.
No. They said it's impossible. All the others had batteries. That has a battery in it now. Anyway, just a weird thing I thought. Okay, Timothy.
It looks like a mask of Richard Nixon or something.
No, that's my face. Oh, no. Next to the cat is William Shatner. That's a Mego store display by Barsa Manashian, one of a kind. Mego Captain Kirk head. It's spectacular. Listen, we're going to wrap up, but describe the four that we know. Fleischman and others have dealt with these, and Whitley Strieber. There's four kinds of space aliens. Name the four and what they look like.
Well, it depends. There's some people say there's four, some people say there's 30. But I would say right off the top of my head, the four main ones would be the gray aliens, of course. That includes the insectalians, and you would have
close encounters.
Then you would have the tall whites, and then you would have. By the way,
that video in Vegas. There's all that story in Vegas. They're saying is legit, right?
That's what I'm hearing, but who knows?
Those were tall aliens. Yeah,
I tend to think it is, and I think there is a real picture of a still from that news station camera footage. I believe there is a still of a real live alien ducking behind that tow motor. That whatever. So you have the grays, you have the tall whites, you have the Nordics, and then I would say the reptilians. Those would be the four primary factions that people talk about.
Do you believe in reptilian shapeshifters?
I don't. I think the reptilians exist. I'm not convinced that they can shapeshift unless they're using some sort of a technological thing that masks.
You don't believe that there are people amongst us that are not what they seem?
Yes, I do. I think that there are human alien hybrids walking amongst.
I am dealing with a demonic force that has cloaked itself in righteousness, which the last book of the Bible warns about. And every day I get more and more information about this person's evil. And some Baptist website just wrote an article and about this former mega preacher. And yeah, we do walk. We do walk amongst people that are not what they seem.
Now let me ask you this: so you heard about the four different species. Well, what did you hear? Was that did I hit the four that you heard about?
No, I heard the grays, which are close encounter kind, and I heard the tall ones that look basically the same. And
the tall one.
Yeah. And then I heard about like a praying mantis kind of thing.
Well, they're part of the grays. They're part of that faction.
And then I heard about the reptilians.
And of course the Nordics, the ones that look like us.
So maybe that's what we're dealing with. I've certainly dealt with people in my life over the years that, we always say, why would they do that? Why would an Obama do that? Why would a Biden do that? Why would Clinton send all of our jobs away? Why would he destroy the middle class? Why would he do that? And what we're actually saying is, I wouldn't do that. And
right.
And I fought this my whole life. Why would Biden sell us out to the Chinese? Does he want his grandkids to hear that knock at the door from the commie bastards coming to kill him? That sound at night, which we're going to talk about here in a second. But yeah, no, he's not you. Dahmer isn't you. These people they're not us. They don't give a shit about your God. They don't care about you. And I'll tell you what, anytime you hear a politician, the children, yeah, they care so much about your children. They want them groomed right now as soon as possible. They care about your children so much that if you question whether your child is being mutilated, you can be put in jail. John of God, Oprah's best friend, sentenced. Boy, was she horrible for America. Oprah. Wow. And they came after me, and the stuff that Oprah would talk about every day on her show was way racier than what I came after or what I said after. And boy, I mean, I couldn't say what Oprah said on a daily basis on my radio show without severe government interference. But then again, I wasn't part of the agenda, and I asked questions. August 15th, a 2-hour special about my battle with Stern, or at least that's how they build it with me. I hope it's not a giant Stern suck fest. I don't know, but it's going to be on Vice. They recorded me for about 10 hours. I'll probably be on for about 30 seconds. A friend of mine got a bootleg of it, and it was on for about 30 seconds, and I went, turn it off. I won't ever watch it, but anyway, if you want to watch it, Timothy, and anyone else. Timothy, is there anything else that's other than aliens in Peru, and anything else that's got your brain going?
No, I think right now the whole this incredible process of disclosure is just really like you said, it's the biggest story since the resurrection of Jesus Christ.
Them trying to put Trump in jail, the number one. I mean, this is stuff we heard about in other countries.
Right.
Your political opponent being put in jail. I mean, this is really.
It is. It's frightening. It's frightening, and there's a possibility they could. I mean, I think he's going to have, by the time we get to the election, what's he going to have? 4 different indictments going at the same time, right?
They can get us. They can get any of us on 100 indictments today. I'm shocked that DeSantis hasn't been stronger.
Exactly.
I'm shocked that the Kennedys, JFK's grandson, does he look like he has any relation to JFK whatsoever?
Well, no, he looks like his father, Robert. More than
no. I'm talking about JFK's grandson came out against RFK.
Yeah. Oh no. I haven't seen that.
Oh, and just an ugly guy. Oh, doesn't look anything like it. Anyway,
I'll say this. I will say this. I think DeSantis made a huge mistake. I think he should have waited, finished his term as governor in Florida, continued to do a great job, supported Trump, and then got the endorsement for the next round. He screwed up. He screwed the pooch.
I'm with you. Timothy, I don't know where your next travels will take you, but I want to be part of them. I do want to make one of these. I mean, this guy's a modern Indiana Jones. I wish you could see him. The book is Birthright, a huge runaway bestseller, and you cannot put the book down. And maybe we'll have him on again next week to talk about these hearings that start Wednesday at 9 a.m.
Let's do it. I'll watch, and then we can do round two, hopefully with the camera working.
If you cut off, I asked this earlier, if you cut off your dog's balls, is it a female dog? Don't answer.
No. It's a dog without balls.
Don't answer. Let's show. I'm not going to come back. I mean, tonight. Good night, everybody. Please keep me in your prayers. I really am fighting Satan. I mean, I am fighting the devil. And remember, the devil can quote scripture. The devil can quote scripture better than you. So beware of these. I want you to go to church. I want you to find a nice Bible-led church. I think it's important. I'm a God guy. I'm a church guy. But make sure it isn't just them trying to enrich themselves. The things I've seen, the book and the movie that will come out someday, what I've been through by exposing evil. Well, hell doesn't like it. And by the way, if you're not going through some kind of a battle right now, during these days, you don't matter. You don't matter. I'm sorry. You don't matter. If you're not going through something right now, if you're not fighting something, you don't matter. And what do I mean by that? All hell has come against those that fight back. Look at these brave parents that the government labeled as terrorists and everything that fought back against the creepiness they're trying to teach in the school. Look at the people that dared to go out during the phony baloney lockdown and all this other stuff. Look at the people that dared not do this. Well, I want to see my grandmother, and I had to. Now I got cancer. Well, and I begged him, please, save yourself. So if you're just blindly walking through life right now, look, I love you. I'll pray for you. But if you're not stirred by something right now, if you're sitting meekly, quietly, you don't matter. I went to a friend's house earlier today, and his girl had tarot cards out. Do you want her to read for you? No. And get this shit out of your house. Now, I talked about the Amazonian death whistle I brought back. And I told you that they poured water on it. It caught on fire and sizzled. And this is Father Caswell did this at the church downtown Chicago. St. John Cantius. Father, he said, Amazonian death whistle? You think it's good? He said it was just an accursed item. And when you go to Greece and you get those all-seeing eyes, you're allowing an eye into your place, you're allowing an eye into your soul, and they pray over those for you to be cursed. Some of these African items, African art items that you pick up that are kind of scary with teeth and stuff in them. Some of the Native American artifacts. I had a horrible experience with one with human skin and teeth in it that somebody had given me. I think they had negative things. I talked to you about the dream warrior that jumped in me. Pray for me. Pray for my family. I keep you in my prayers, but I'm just saying, I got a pretty good life. I'm pretty happy. When shit goes wrong, remember I told you. Now you know. This girl is playing tarot cards, your girlfriend, in your house. You're welcoming evil into your house. Get that shit out of your house. Horoscopes, numbers. No, she's a good psychic. She's good. No, she quotes the Bible. She bathes everything in light. Yeah, Satan was the angel of what? Of light. Don't cover yourself with skulls and demons and evil shit all around your house and then wonder why your life isn't blessed, why good things aren't happening. Yes, I have a Misfit shirt that has the Crimson Ghost, an old 1940s movie character that has a skull face. You know, I have an Evil Dead movie with my friend Bruce Campbell, and there's kind of a skeleton on the front. I mean, you know, I'm not getting crazy here, folks. But tarot cards? Oh, it's harmless. Ooh. You're welcoming it Ouija boards with your kids? Known as a witch board. Those originally made by trees that witches hung from, and they would cut them and put alphabets on them, and the devil would talk to them. They would write the alphabet on them. Timothy? I think he just fell asleep.
No, I'm here.
Okay. Am I boring you? Am I right or not, though?
No, you're right. I'm just listening to you.
Did we give these creatures, did mankind give them the right to abduct us and impregnate us? Did God have to give the okay for these things to abduct us?
The short answer is yes, I believe that is what occurred.
And you also believe the spiritual movement, or the Ouija boards and all this, come visit us. Oh, whoever you are, come and visit us. You also believe that this went out into the universe, and that's when they started to appear. Isn't that what you believe?
Yes, I believe that the human species is inherently telepathic, for one thing, and that there are psychic capabilities that we have that we cannot comprehend, we don't understand, and that when we engage in, for example, going to a medium and trying to contact the dead, we're broadcasting a signal that got picked up by somebody.
Yes, sir. Timothy, thank you.
Well, thank you for having me on. And again, I apologize for all the trouble with trying to connect with you tonight. It is bizarre.
Well, it was sabotage. And I say what you say to me when I first got this book so long ago. And that is, may you grow in the grace and knowledge of Christ. And I wish that for all of you too. Again, folks, please. Mancow or hung cow? Mancow or hung cow? Good night.
This is the scariest sound you will hear when you live in a communist country. This is the last sound my parents heard when their fathers were taken away in the middle of the night, and they never saw their loved ones again. That's the sound of losing your freedom, the sound of always living in fear. That's my family's real life story. We escaped from Vietnam just days before Saigon fell to the communists. We were given a new life in the most generous country on earth. America saved my life. I graduated from the United States Naval Academy. I earned a master's in physics and fellowships at MIT and Harvard before the left replaced merit with racial quotas. I spent my life trying to repay my debt to America, my country, our country, with 25 years of service in Navy Special Operations, combat in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Somalia. But now our country has taken a dark turn. That's Joe Biden's Justice Department sending 24 armed agents to arrest a pro-life activist in front of his family. That's Joe Biden's IRS raiding a gun shop and seizing thousands of records from law-abiding gun owners. Our names, our addresses, our social security numbers. That's Joe Biden arresting his challenger in the next election, a former president of the United States. And now a different sound. That's the sound of someone breaking into your home or business. The sound of crime destroying our cities and communities. That's how it all starts. They let criminals back on our streets. Millions of illegal immigrants pour across our border each year, including military-aged men from all over the world. And enough fentanyl to kill every man, woman, and child in this country. And the Biden family? Well, that's how it works in a dictatorship. The rules don't apply to the rulers. We are losing our country. You know it, but you also know you can't say it. We're forced to say that wrong is right. We're forced to lie. We can't let that happen. I've been all over the world. Believe me when I tell you, If America fails, there's nowhere else to go. I'm Mancow, retired Navy captain, running for United States Senate. I still believe America can be the land of opportunity. I have an obligation to fight back against those who want to control our lives and disrupt our families. We need real fighters, not politicians, not bureaucrats, not keyboard warriors acting tough in a custom-made suit. No, not here in America. We must refuse to be intimidated. We must be fearless. I'm Mancow. I'm running for Senate, and I approve this message because I'm not done fighting for us.